This is how society collapses.
The Trade Commission has launched an investigation into what's called surveillance pricing. That's when companies use someone's personal data, like browsing, even credit history, to sell them a product at a different price than what other consumers might see.
This is how societies collapse. So this is pretty crazy what's going on here, guys. Watch the end of the video to completely understand what's happening and the implications of the situation. What's happening now is that companies are surveilling customers. They're using your history, like where you go online, the products that you look at, your income level. They figure out how much money you have. And then based on that, you could go to Walmart.com, and the price that you see for a product may not be the same price that someone else would see. And this could be happening on Amazon and every other retailer. It's a frightening reality. It's a scary reality, but it's something that we have to be aware of. So let's just go ahead and jump into the video, and then we'll go ahead and discuss the context a bit more.
The FTC ordered information on this from 8 companies earlier this week, including MasterCard and JP Morgan Chase. Software company Revionics said in a statement to the Associated Press, it, quote, does not develop software that recommends pricing targeted to specific individuals. Let's bring in Ashley Gold. She's a tech and policy reporter for Axios. Ashley, scary. Makes me want to, clear all my cookies now. I don't even know if if that would help. But what is surveillance pricing? What would an average consumer, how would they see this on a daily basis?
I think the problem is if it's happening, a consumer wouldn't actually know that it's happening. They wouldn't see it. This is stuff that's happening on the back end. These companies, the companies you just listed, they are marketing an ability to use AI, to use other mechanisms like algorithms and just tracking of things like bank statements and behavior, like you said. And they're selling the ability to have those insights in real time and tell retailers about them to sort of name their price for customers depending on what they're up to, were they paid recently. So if you're seeing a price on a website that has been served to you based on this practice, I don't think there's any real way you would know from your end as a consumer.
I mean, that feels like the rub there, that, if it's happening, people should at least know. How are the companies responding to the FTC investigation?
Basically, when you get a request like this from the FTC, all you can say is you're going to comply with the investigation. I know MasterCard said they're going to comply with the investigation, and the other company you listed said that they don't do that. But the devil will be in the details. These companies are going to have Revionics that you listed. These companies are going to have to cough up a lot of internal information that they wouldn't normally be compelled to share with a government agency, but the FTC has the authority to study these companies under something called a 6B authority. So, all they can do is say they're complying and cough up the information, and then the FTC will determine if there's any wrongdoing or not. But, it's smart for them to say, we have nothing to hide, but go ahead, we'll open our books and you can take a look at what our practices are.
So this is obviously the very beginning, but what would be some potential outcomes of an investigation like this that could benefit consumers?
Yeah, so the FTC could find that this is a widespread practice. They could find that it's not a widespread practice. They could find that it's quite insidious and uses a lot of people's personal information to set wildly different prices for people. Or maybe they find it's consumer friendly and it makes more sense. I have a feeling that's not the case, especially because we've seen supply and demand pricing has also been a common thing recently on concert tickets and stuff like that. It's all part of this sort of new ecosystem of companies wanting to use AI and sell the ability to use AI, get customer insights to set prices, do other things, customize things for companies. And, that's not always, that doesn't always come out in a way that's good for customers.
You can really rationalize that companies like Amazon are already doing these types of things. We already know that they do this on platforms like Uber Eats and DoorDash, where they'll look at your past ordering history. If you're a regular person who purchases regularly, they're not going to give you as many deals. They're not going to give you as many offers to keep you shopping on there because they already know that you can afford it. So they're going to basically show you items priced the absolute highest and try to take as much advantage of you as possible. it's and they guys, the devil's like they said, the devil is in the details. For example, they could make it look like, oh, this is a deal, but what you don't realize is that they're picking it up in surcharge fees. So they're like, oh, you're gonna save $10 here, you're gonna save $20 here, but then where they get you is in the surcharge, where they're charging like $19 for delivery and surcharges and certain orders and all kinds of garbage. And what they are doing also are these digital tags at stores like Walmart and so forth, and they are 100% designed to be deceptive, so that consumers cannot tell the difference if they are looking at an actual tag for a price or something for a price or not. So what they're doing is, when you go to let's say to a Walmart or supermarket, you'll see like the price tag. It looks like a sticker. You're like, oh, it's fine. They're designing these digital things where they can remotely change the prices every day or multiple times during the day for different products. The product that you see in the morning may not be the product the price that you see in the morning for items may not be the price that you see in the evenings. They're constantly playing with the prices, and this is done to basically get as much money out of the consumer. If they know that most people are only going to be able to do shopping in the evening, well, then they're going to charge as much as they can in the evening. So there's the base price that they charge. They're not trying to save consumers money. They're trying to milk them for as much as possible. So there's the base charge there's the base price that they'll always charge, which is what they're supposed to be charging in the first place. And then they're going to keep on raising it, as high as they possibly can. If they can charge you, $20 for if they can charge you $20 for a $1 pack of Jello, they will charge you $20 for a $1 pack of Jello. I look at McDonald's McChicken sandwiches. I used to like eating McChickens back in the day. They're like more than $5 now. It's more than $5 for a McChicken. And when you look at those prices, you're like, I can't pay this for a fucking for a McChicken. I cannot pay this price for a McChicken. And it's like, it's ridiculous. So we're all being priced out of the economy. Many of you have already given up. Like, you're like, I'm not spending more than a few dollars on games. A lot of you guys play Steam. Many of you will not spend more than a couple of dollars on Steam games. You won't spend money on really anything. And that's the reality that we're living in right now, where most people don't have anymore. Like, you don't even have the flexibility to live and enjoy your life. It's basically like living like a poor person, like living there's living you have to live far below your means. But now it's like you can't enjoy anything. Like, even like premium, even eating well, you have to go to great lengths to figure out how to buy food. A lot of guys are doing bartering right now, involved in the whole bartering market. Companies are taking advantage of consumers as much as they can to drain money from them in any possible way. It's like I've never seen this thing. I saw this type of behavior overseas when I lived overseas, but in the United States, it's now becoming much more prominent. Like, some of the things I've seen here, I didn't even see overseas. It's crazy how desperate people are for money. Gen Z, I'll tell you guys, these people are desperate for every dime and dollar. They are so desperate for money, it's insane. You know, they keep coming at Gen X, like blaming Gen X because they're poor, because they're a bunch of brokies, despite the fact that a lot of Gen Xers did everything right. They went to school, they got educations, they did everything they possibly could, and life is still hard. And guess what Gen X does? They don't sit around complaining or bemoaning everyone. They're like, oh, woe is me, telling everyone that their life sucks. They suck it up, and they basically keep on working. They keep on pushing and grinding. And that's the great thing about Gen X. They're not messing with anyone. But here's the thing: Gen Z wants to mess with them. And I realized that we're gonna have to, like, there's a price that you have to pay to be left alone, because people just won't leave you alone. Just because you say leave me alone doesn't mean they're gonna leave you alone. And you have to fight to be left alone, because everyone wants to turn you into their slave. Like, Gen Z wants to turn us into their slaves, because these bad muffins don't want to work. They don't want to contribute to society. They don't want to do anything. They basically just want to take. They say that the boomers stole our futures, so we're just stealing it back. And everyone older than them is a boomer. And then they have their supporters and enablers, because a lot of their parents are enablers. A lot of their parents are enablers, and a lot of millennials are practically Gen Zers. So yeah, they have their enablers that are that are pushing, that are supporting them. But these are bad people. These are really, really bad people. These are not godly people. These are horrible people. They are not blessed people. They're not blessed people because of their wickedness and their evil. This is how society collapses when they start doing things like this, where they start charging you for everything and anything, where they start charging you different prices. They do this in other countries. Like two different people can walk into the same store, and one person they'll charge $1, the other person they'll charge 6 or 7 for the same exact thing. And it's a type of evil and wickedness. So I'm telling y'all, you have to be careful with this. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. What do you guys think regarding all this? This is how society collapses. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.